What is up? My name is Spencer, and today I'm ranking all the Harry Potter movies from worst to best. I have not read the books, but I did grow up watching the movies, so they are a big part of my childhood. I think they're all fantastic. No, not you. We're probably going to disagree, but that's okay. We can discuss it in the comments below. Enough wasting time, let's get to it. Starting off at number 8, we have my least favorite of the series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. This movie suffers from very slow pacing, especially in the second act, and that is because it is part 1 of the final chapter. And there are great scenes, but the climax that it's building to is in the next movie. I really do like the slower character scenes like Harry and Hermione at his parents' grave, but I just wish they would have trimmed it up just a little bit so maybe we could have gotten one 3-hour, more evenly paced movie. That's the problem with splitting up the last movie into 2 parts. The first part is all setup and the second part is all payoff. At number 7, we go all the way back to the first time we went to Hogwarts and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This movie introduces us to our 3 main characters, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and we get to explore the wizarding world through Harry's eyes. It is really cool to see. The filmmakers do a really good job at world building as we get to see Diagon Alley, Gringotts Bank, Hogwarts, Quidditch, and the Forbidden Forest. This movie is a lot of fun, but the child acting is not the best and the visual effects do not hold up. Coming in at number 6 is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I mean, at this point, I don't really have any issues with the movies. However, with this one, the most frustrating thing is the politics. In the Goblet of Fire, Death Eaters attacked the Quidditch World Cup. Harry said that Voldemort came back and he murdered Cedric Diggory, and then they caught Barty Crouch Jr. impersonating Mad-Eye Moody for the whole movie, and he backed up everything Harry said. And for some reason, people still didn't believe that Voldemort was back. I don't get it. It's very frustrating. I can't possibly talk about the Order of the Phoenix without mentioning one of the most hated characters of all time, Dolores Umbridge. That bitch. I swear, it is Joffrey, Ramsay, and Umbridge as the most hated characters of all time. Played by Imelda Staunton, she made you hate her the second she came on screen. You know you have a talented actor when you can get that kind of emotional response from your audience. Bravo. Moving on to the top 5, we have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, proof that a sequel can be better than the original. This does exactly what a sequel should do, and it takes what was established in the first movie and improves upon it. In this one, we learn more about Voldemort before he became the Dark Lord, which makes the movie darker than the previous installment. And for only coming out a year later, the visual effects have substantially improved. Lucius Malfoy definitely tried to murder a child in school. We are already halfway through this list. If you're enjoying the video, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite Harry Potter movie? And why? Let's move on to number 4, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. The Half-Blood Prince deals with the romance between characters that is often funny and awkward, and helps balance out the dark and depressing third act. Dumbledore's death scene was very sad, but it was also handled perfectly. The editing, the music, the acting, and the direction were all flawless. And not only was it flawlessly executed, it's one of the most important scenes in the entire series. Top 3, here we go. My number 3 pick is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is the first Harry Potter movie to be PG-13, and it is the darkest so far. Harry has to grow up and mature very quickly because he's forced to compete in the Triwizard Tournament. The challenges are entertaining to watch, and it also shows us Harry's true character. I'm sure he wants to win the tournament, but at the end of the day, he's just trying to survive this thing. I mean, he's way outmatched. He's the youngest competitor in Triwizard Tournament history. I mean, he even goes to the extreme of helping Fleur Delacour's little sister at the lake, and then also saving her life and Cedric's in the maze. He's even willing to share the victory with Cedric at the very end. That shows you how noble of a guy he really is. There's a lot of humor revolved around this ball in the second act, and it's really funny, because we can all relate to being super nervous when asking out that person to the dance. And we also get to see a little bit of jealousy going on between Ron and Hermione. And of course, the ending when Voldemort comes back and has that intense duel with Harry was awesome, and a tease of what's to come. This pivotal chapter in the Harry Potter series is one of my favorites because of its rewatchability, and now that Voldemort has risen, things will not be the same. I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. That's right. It's really getting good now. My number 2 pick is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I've probably watched this movie more than the others because it's just that great. The direction and cinematography are incredible, and that's due to the director, Alfonso Cuarón, who wrote and directed Gravity, another movie with stunning cinematography, and you can tell. The train scene with the Dementors is hauntingly beautiful, and Buckbeak and Harry flying is one of the most magical shots in the entire series. The entire movie is just mesmerizingly beautiful. The time-traveling third act was seamlessly directed. Replaying the same events but from a different point of view was really cool. Harry and Sirius have an emotional scene together, and it makes me happy because finally Harry has a father figure to look up to. Speaking of figures Harry looks up to, the role of Dumbledore had to be recast because Richard Harris sadly passed away, and Michael Gambon picks up the role for the rest of the series. Both actors did a tremendous job. This movie is a perfect blend between a fun kids movie and a more serious tonal shift for the series going forward, and I love it. Finally, my favorite Harry Potter movie, coming in at number 1, is none other than Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is the epic conclusion of the story, and they stick the landing. The opening music is so beautiful, and it sets up the somber tone for the rest of the movie. Some of our characters are not going to make it out alive, and it immediately hooks you in. They waste no time getting into the action as they break into Gringotts so they can go to Bellatrix's vault and find a Horcrux. They escape on a dragon, and then they make their way to Hogwarts, and from here on out, it is non-stop chaos. It felt so good to be back at Hogwarts for what felt like a very long time, and Harry is not playing games anymore. He immediately confronts Snape, and that leads to an awesome duel between Snape and Professor McGonagall. What comes next is one of the most badass scenes in the entire series. Professor McGonagall summons these stone soldiers, and it is so cool seeing them drop off the walls and march into formation. It's at that moment where you realize it's about to go down. Right before that, Professor McGonagall tells Seamus and Neville to blow up the bridge, and her delivery on this line makes me laugh every time. Boom! I love it. Voldemort begins the attack while Harry, Ron, and Hermione look for Horcruxes, and once they find one, they destroy it, and Voldemort has had enough. He's like, F this, and he destroys the magic shield defending Hogwarts, and that is when everyone collectively shit themselves. The battle for Hogwarts commences, and it is mayhem. I mean, there are Death Eaters flying from all over the place, trolls attacking, giant spiders, like, it's nuts. And then we have the saddest scene in the entire series, Snape's death and character reveal. It is truly heartbreaking, but I think it's the most important scene in the entire series. If you pay attention right before he dies, he tells Harry to look at him, and then he says he has his mother's eyes. Don't you realize? He wanted to see Lily's eyes one more time. He wanted that to be the last thing he saw before he died. That is so sad and beautiful. This whole time we thought Snape was evil, but we discover he was actually a double agent for Dumbledore, and we also find out why he was such a jerk to Harry for all these years. I cannot stress how monumentally important this exposition scene really is. It makes you want to rewatch the entire series because it gives you a whole new perspective on who Snape truly is. He instantly became not only a fan favorite, but one of the most important characters in the entire story. Alan Rickman played Snape perfectly. I can't imagine anyone else in the role because he was so bloody brilliant. This scene also reveals that Harry is the Horcrux that Voldemort never intended to make, and that in order to defeat him, he must die. Harry confronts Voldemort, and Voldemort uses Avada Kedavra to murder him. And the messed up thing is, they make Hagrid bring up his lifeless body back to the castle, which is so messed up. This is when Neville Longbottom really shines. He has his big moment where he defies Voldemort, has a great motivational speech, and pulls the Sword of Gryffindor out of the sorting hat. And it's this opportune moment where Harry reveals that he's alive. And then they have their epic showdown. Neville uses the Sword of Gryffindor to kill the snake, and Voldemort finally dies. The visuals of this scene are incredible, as their spells combine and Voldemort evaporates into ashes. The movie ends with everyone grown up, sending their kids off to Hogwarts for their first year. It is a perfect way to end the Harry Potter story. David Yates did a great job directing the last 4 movies of this incredibly magical franchise. In the end, I love all the Harry Potter movies. They are amazing. It's a wonderful experience watching these characters and actors grow up right before your eyes. All the supporting cast is amazing as well. These are fun movies that can be appreciated by anyone, whether you're a kid or an adult, and they will be for generations to come. Well, that's my list of the Harry Potter movies ranked from worst to best. Do you agree with my list? I'm curious, how would you rank the movies? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, wave your wands over that like and subscribe button, and if you hit that notification bell, an owl will notify you every time I post a new video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.